3 years ago, I made a promise to myself. I will get lean and stay lean forever, but honestly, I had no idea what I was doing. I tried every diet, every workout, took all the advice from social media, but I still failed. If you're stuck like I was, this could be the most important video you watch in 2025 because I'm making this for the old me. I will show you why most people fail, the real science behind fat loss, and the exact training and diet tricks that finally worked for me so you don't waste years. Here's what I learned when I finally got lean. Overweight people has to play by different rules. In all of those how to lose weight videos, they all talk about the same thing. Move around more, eat cleaner. And the worst part is they say this is the easiest method, anyone can do it. If anyone can do it, why did I fail? Eventually, when I got lean, it all clicked on me. This advice works on paper, but real life, it's a different story. Let me ask you an uncomfortable question. Why are people overweight? It's because we eat too much sugar and junk food, and what's one thing we all know about sugar? It's really addictive. When you eat a lot of sugar, it rewires your brain. You start craving the most extreme foods out there, and because of that, normal foods stop tasting that good. It's almost like your taste buds get an inflation because you eat so much sugar. So if you go 0 to 100 with your diet, drop all the sugar and start to eat clean, do you honestly believe you can keep up with a diet where every meal tastes bad? Let me tell you a fun fact. When I started to get lean, I started to enjoy more plain foods. I have come to the point where I eat the same thing every single day because I'm lean. It's not because my discipline has gone up. I enjoy plain food now because of the way I look. If this was 3 years ago, I would never be able to eat the way I eat today. Impossible. Now for the rest of the video, we're going to talk about the science for fat loss. Then I will give you different training split and strategies for building muscle. I will show you the practical diet tips I use to finally get lean. Let's begin with going into the science. Now let's get this immediately out of the way. The only way to lose weight is through a calorie deficit, and in order to reach a calorie deficit, you need to eat less food or calories than your body uses. Let's say your body uses 2,500 calories per day. If you only eat 2,000 calories, your body will use 500 calories that are stored around your body as fat. Over time, when your body keeps using that stored fat, you will lose fat, so you will finally be lean. Now you have probably already heard some of these things, but there's another thing I want to talk about. That is cardio. Now, there's no denying that cardio will help you lose fat, but how much does cardio actually help you? Let's look at this concept. The concept is called total daily energy expenditure. This just means where do we actually burn the most calories? The answer is just by living. Your body burns the most calories just to keep you alive. This is called your basal metabolic rate, or BMR. The second biggest piece is called NEAT. That's all your normal movement like walking, standing, using your hands, or just moving around in your daily life. The third and fourth parts depend a bit on the person, but they're the actual training or cardio you do in the gym and the calories your body uses to digest food. But the main idea is cardio is only a small piece of the puzzle when it comes to burning energy. This doesn't mean that you're gonna stop doing cardio. Cardio is still great for your health, mind and body, but I just wanted to show you that don't depend only on cardio when it comes to fat loss. The foods you eat has a much bigger impact on your fat loss compared to cardio. Now let's talk about training. I have prepared a few workout splits that you can choose from, but before I show you them, there's a few things I want you to understand. The first thing I want to show you, it's better to divide your sets throughout the week than to cram everything into a single session. For example, hitting chest twice a week with 2 sets each session will stimulate more growth than hitting chest once a week with 4 sets if you're training with high intensity. Because remember, the higher the intensity, the more fatigue you build, and if you have too much fatigue, you won't be able to push the muscle to its maximum effort, and we have to train to failure or close to failure if we want to grow. Intensity is the most efficient way to build muscle. And the second thing I want you to understand is that if you want to prioritize a muscle group, you have to hit it early in the session. Because remember, the more you train, the more fatigue you build and the harder it is to put in maximum effort for that muscle group. So it will be harder for you to grow. So the later you hit the muscle group, the less stimulation you create. The third thing I want you to understand is do compound movements before isolation exercises. Compound movements are exercises where multiple muscle groups are involved. Isolation is where only one muscle group is working. For example, it's better to do bench press before triceps pushdowns. If you start with triceps pushdowns, by the time you get to bench, your triceps will be the limiting factor. They will give up before your chest does, which means your chest won't get as much growth. The fourth thing I want you to understand is that compound movements are not bad. A lot of people in social media have said that isolated exercises are better than compound movement, because with isolated exercises you're only hitting one muscle group, while with compound movements, because you're hitting multiple muscle groups at the same time, you're distributing the stimulation throughout the muscle groups. But the thing is, compound movement has its place. For example, if you don't want to do 5 different exercises for your legs, you don't really care about your legs, you only need realistically 2 to 3 exercises to hit your whole leg. Or if you have low on time, instead of doing chest flies and then triceps pushdowns, you only need dips. Dips will train both muscle groups efficiently. Now, it won't maximize growth, but it will give you enough stimulation where you grow. So it has its place. Now let's talk about training splits. My recommendation is begin slow. Try to go to the gym only 3 times a week. If you see that you can be consistent with it, it's easy for you, try to bump it up to 4 times. If you see that you can still handle 4 times a week, try to bump it up to 5 times a week. I have prepared a few workout splits for you depending on how many times a week you're gonna work out. If you can only go 3 times a week, here's my split. I haven't written the sets and reps because I want you to decide for yourself. The industry standard is 6 to 12 reps, 3 sets per exercise, but I want you to experiment. Try 2 sets per exercise first. If that feels easy and doesn't build too much fatigue, bump it up to 3 sets, especially on the exercises you want to prioritize. And did you notice on day 1 it's chest and quads focused, so I put those exercises there. If you can handle going to the gym 4 times a week, here's my split. Use the same principles. Figure out how many sets you can truly recover from, and rep range anywhere from 6 to 12. But be careful, some exercises like cable ladder raises are hard to do with good form at low reps. So go higher on those, and on compound movements like squats, 6 reps is fine. Maybe you have realized I'm not prioritizing my legs that much. I kept in mind that most guys don't care about their legs. So that's why these splits are this way. If you can handle 5 times a week, this is my split. This one is really well balanced. On day 4, I really focus on the aesthetic muscle groups, pushing them to the max. And for all of these splits, remember, exercise selection isn't everything. You can swap out exercises as long as you keep the same movement pattern and target the same muscle group. For example, if you don't like to do incline dumbbell press, you can swap it for incline Smith machine. They both hit the same area. And now let's talk about the diet. And the goal is not to tell you just move around more and eat cleaner. I want to give you tips and tricks that I used to get lean. Now think of this part as part 2 to my last video, so I'm not going to give you the same advice as I did there. One of the most important things when it comes to diet is consistency. So how do you become consistent with your diet? I have written down a few criteria that you have to follow if you want to be consistent. The first criteria, enjoying the foods. One of the most simplest hacks I used to do when I started to eat healthier is I used to use a low calorie sauce, and I stopped drinking liquid calories. This right here was a game changer. I can eat 2 cans of tuna with barbecue sauce. Without the barbecue sauce, I would be fighting for my life. And when it comes to the drinks, I used to drink more Diet Coke. The second tip is start easy with your diet. Any change is better than no change. If you have 3 meals in a day, it means that you have 21 meals in a week. I want you to start easy. Only follow a diet for 5 of those meals. Next week, increase it to 7. The week after that, increase it even more. Keep increasing till you come to the sweet spot where you tell yourself, if I keep increasing, I won't be able to be consistent with my diet. That's the sweet spot. And before you know it, you will look back and you will see how much progress you have made. Now the second criteria, controlling your cravings. As an overweight person, you will always have cravings. Don't try to resist it. Learn to play around it. My tip is, when I used to get cravings, I would buy normal chocolate bars, and I used to always tell myself I'm only going to eat half of it. But I couldn't resist myself, so I ate the whole thing. So the solution is, When you get cravings and you buy chocolate or sugar, buy smaller portions. Instead of buying this big of a chocolate bar, buy the smaller version. When I got lean, I realized that you only need a little bit of sugar to control your cravings. My second tip for this criteria is don't have cheat days, have cheat meals. Instead of being strict 6 days straight and then on Sunday you're gonna go all lean and start to binge eat, have a few cheat meals throughout the week. Because here's how I think about it. When you're super strict with your diet, you build friction in your mind, and the only way to control that friction is through discipline. But when you have too much friction, your discipline can't handle it, so you start to binge eat and undo all of that progress. And now let's talk about the third criteria, patience. Patience is a mental game. Don't let social media trick you. Don't compare yourself to others. This is your journey. If you just focus on yourself and stop chasing the fastest results, you will succeed. I truly believe that. Maybe you have noticed I haven't shown you what I eat, and that's for a reason. I don't want you to feel pressure and copy me. Everyone's journey is different. You don't need to eat the same way I do. This is your journey. So this is what I want you to do. Look up healthy, low-calorie foods and experiment, and eventually you will be able to find what you like, and from that you can create your own diet. And if you have come this far and you want to learn even more practical tips, watch this video right here, and good luck on your journey.